Welcome to ClickUp Weekly, episode number 8. Today we are digging into one of ClickUp's most highly requested features and a bunch of other good stuff related to your ClickUp workspace. We'll get into all of that. My name is Gray McKenzie. I'm the founder at ZenPilot, where we work with teams to streamline their operations inside ClickUp. This show, ClickUp Weekly, is my fault. It is not sponsored or endorsed by ClickUp, so I'm liable for anything that we get into today. With that said, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and tune in. Every Saturday, we're releasing another episode of ClickUp Weekly. And so that is enough of preamble. Let's get into subfolders, what this all means as we jump into the show. So I've got the docket pulled up here. Nothing new in ClickUp's changelog from this week in terms of what they put out publicly. There are some beta updates that went live and a few things here and there. But one of the main updates was subfolders. And so I just want to spend a little bit of time on subfolders. First thing I'll point you to is if you go to Canny in the feedback section for ClickUp or the roadmap, subfolders, you can see, hey, more stuff about beta access. And I figured, you know what, it's time to pull up the beta. And so we'll look at kind of what that looks like and talk through how that impacts your workspace design and like the most common use cases where I see subfolders being a huge help to clients. I was going to scroll through here. We'll put the form to request access. I know we've put it in a prior episode of ClickUp Weekly, but we'll grab the form and we'll put it in there. This is so funny that this is like, you know, a lot of these, I think, and I appreciate that ClickUp has done this. They're not hiding it, but this has been requested since 2019. Here it is 2026 and it's finally rolling out. But it actually is working well in the beta right now. So I'm really excited about like the quality of this feature coming out because this is going to be a core one. It's going to impact how teams, especially client service teams, are working with their clients. And so it's pretty important that this one's right out of the box. First thing to point out here is that they are trying to give access to everyone who's requested access within the next 3 weeks, as I'm recording this here on March 7th is when this episode's going to go live. So assume by the end of March that everyone has access at a beta level to subfolders. And pending any feedback, I think that'll go live generally pretty quickly after that would be my assumption. But let's just take a look. I'm going to flip over to the ZenPilot workspace here for a second and just take a look at subfolders. Kind of what does that look like in the app itself? And it's exactly what you would expect. You've got a normal space. You've got a folder. You'd have lists underneath that folder. But in this case, instead of going straight to a list, you've got these subfolders. And just like you would have an overview screen for a parent folder, you have that same overview screen. And obviously this can all be customizable. And please, 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 this should be customized. This should be part of your template that you already have. But kind of the example that I've got spun up here is going to be one of the most common use cases for our clients right now. And those are situations where we're working with a client or you're working on a portfolio of projects where there are sub-projects, like an entire project that may have different contract levels, like a super common hierarchy setup in marketing agency example would be you've got a space for delivery, and this is our setup too internally. We're working with clients. You've got a folder for a client, and each contract that they sign is kind of tied to a specific list. So we're doing that for some financial tracking reasons. We want to have our profitability and utilization reporting all spun up and dialed in so we can see exactly, you know, what projects are profitable and not profitable and what our team utilization looks like, all that kind of information. So there's other ways to structure it, but that's, you know, probably the most common way today that we're structuring it. But sometimes you run into a situation where we do have a client, but inside that client, there are multiple teams. So, you know, when you are working with enterprises, you may be working with basically two clients. And we've worked with this in quite a few of the agencies and the teams that we've served. We've got a client who served Nike, and they had 7 different divisions of Nike acting completely independently in their work. So obviously we could just take a parent folder and we could have made a couple different versions of this, and we could have renamed this and said, you know, hey, this is the Apple iPhone team. But then we're using custom fields to hook stuff together, which also works. Yeah, none of those are non-tenable solutions. What we're trying to do is just make it much easier to organize work and kind of more intuitive for teams to go in and find it. And we want all this information to roll up, and instead of needing to take this Apple client view and put it as a view at the space level and then filter it down for just a custom field where the client is Apple overall, this allows us to get a lot of that stuff kind of built natively into the hierarchy, which is super cool. So it would be this case where, you know, maybe we're a hardware supporting team or we're helping on the marketing front, and we're working with the iPhone team for each of their different phone launches, and we're working with the Mac team for their different launches as well. By the way, anybody else buy the M5 MacBook Pro? That was an expensive launch day on Wednesday here at Zen Pilot. But anyways, so that's what subfolders looks like. Everything inside of that, it's kind of as you would expect. You've got all the standard stuff that you need to know here. It's just built in. It's super customizable. The thing that you need to know is you cannot do subfolders. So there's not nested subfolders here in the beta. It's just one level of subfolders. I don't have any problem with that. I think this solves. ClickUp already, one of the big advantages it has over Asana or some of the other platforms out there is the depth of the hierarchy that they already have. This adds to it, but it doesn't go absolutely crazy with it, where we're just going to nest, permanently what there is. I had asked a trivia question on ClickUp Weekly here weeks ago, asking about how many layers deep the hierarchy could go, and that was kind of a trick question because now subfolders is coming out, and so we're adding an additional optional layer that you can have turned on or off. Should you use this? What are the drawbacks to it? As always, your data structure is huge. Like, how are you structuring it? Really, what's the data structure that you have is made up of the left-hand side of your app here. Your hierarchy. What are you using for spaces and folders and now subfolders and lists and tasks? And then you've got kind of the way that I think about it is like the right side of like, well, what's the information tied to each of those specific tasks or custom task types, basically custom objects. What are the attributes that you have there? So this is your custom field data, tags, that kind of statuses, that kind of stuff. And so those together make up your data structure. And that's going to impact a ton of that. Like that makes or breaks what you can do reporting wise. So being intelligent in how you think through that is huge. From a visibility perspective, in terms of surfacing things and other views, these subfolders do not hurt you right now. And so they are pretty helpful. I don't have any major hesitations after testing this in the beta about rolling this out for teams. You just need to, like, my main caution to you is just to be consistent in your structure across your team. Okay, so that's a little bit of detail on subfolders. I want to call that out. That's a pretty exciting one. And we'll make sure that we link up the form to get on that beta list in the show notes for this. ClickUp Rewind. I just want to share a couple 4.0 resources that are out. I've mentioned this for a few weeks. Like, hey, if you want access to our playbook, subscribe to the newsletter. That got sent out a while ago. But you can now access this is like a 7,000 word review of ClickUp 4.0. And so if you want all the details on 4.0, kind of the comprehensive one place to go, this blog is a great resource for that. And so get right into kind of like, hey, what are the different pieces of this? What's, and like with anything else, I'm not here just to toot the horn for ClickUp. Like, there's stuff I like about it and I'm super excited and passionate about. And there's stuff that I'm like, oh, come on, this is kind of a swing and a miss right here. So that stuff's called out and you can see all the different sections here as well. But if you're not just a reader, check out the video version. I thought I had this. I do have it pulled up here in a tab. So this just went live this week, but I spent a little over an hour kind of breaking down piece by piece what's in here and sharing my thoughts along the way and kind of implementation plan. So those are two resources that I wanted to shout out and share with you. They're both available for free. There's no, you don't have to give me 10 pieces of information before you're going to go download them. That's just yours to have for 4.0. Let's talk about the wish list. What's on our ClickUp wish list? What do you want to see in ClickUp? Leave a comment. Let me know what would be most helpful for you. If you've not yet made or upvoted an existing feature request or made a new one if it didn't exist in Canny, then I'd encourage you to go do that. Like, this is, it's cool that ClickUp's got kind of all these different feature requests. It's real easy to click and, create one. You can probably search. I would always recommend searching first. Saying, hey, here's what I'm looking for. How can I go, upvote something that already exists there and add any comments with additional details that you have. So I'll give you that call out. Here's kind of a funny one, but I'd love to be able to change the default like or dislike emoji. I'm not sure that I personally want to advocate super hard for this. I think this is possible that you could do this. And I think I even added a note here. I think it's possible you could even do this just on the front end. But the reason this popped up was because someone on the team this week said, hey, help me know, like, what emojis should I use for this specific use case? And someone else chimed in and said, hey, definitely don't use the thumbs up. Whatever you do, avoid that at all costs. And I've heard this a handful of times before. So when you get a message right now, you can either like it or dislike the comment, and that's the default. And whether it's a comment or a message, wherever it is, that's the default. But there's some people who don't love that, and you've got settings to change. We could change some of this stuff in settings. We can change. We'll just scroll down here. We can change our themes, all kinds of stuff in here. But what we can't change yet is, what is this emoji? So what if I could say, hey, anytime I like it, I want to give the check mark, or I want to give, whatever, I'll salute, or I'll do whatever, So this has popped up a couple times. I thought this was kind of a funny one. I did not care enough to go make a feature request, candidly. So I did search to see if one has been submitted, and people have submitted a bunch of different ones. ClickUp's actually delivered on a lot of that. I'm actually building a tool right now. If you want early access, shoot me a message and let me know. So custom reactions or emojis here in ClickUp, you can add them. It's no problem. But your options are either import from Slack or go make them one by one. I'm building just kind of a fun tool. This is purely because a handful of people have mentioned like, hey, this would be cool. I'm building a tool that'll let you just pick and choose what ones you want, or add your own and kind of bulk import a bunch of them all at once. So you can take especially if you're moving to ClickUp Chat, you're like, oh man, I got a bunch here that I'd love to have. It's an easy way to go get some custom emoji reactions. Anyways, that's a distraction from the feature request. If you're interested in that little app, shoot me a message and let me know. But the specific request was, hey, can we change what that default like or dislike message emoji reaction is? All right, that's enough on the wish list. Let's go to ClickUp in the wild. And this week, Francesco D'Alessio of Tool Finder published ClickUp Super Agents Ultimate Guide. And this video, I'm going to mute it because we'll let this play here for a second, and we may cut in some of this stuff. Tool Finder, obviously a big YouTube channel, and Francesco reached out and asked me to come in and walk through like super agents and how they work, how do we set this up, all that kind of stuff. So if you've been following ClickUp Weekly, you've seen some of that stuff already. If you haven't, you may have missed it. This is a really good conversation together to dig into like, hey, what's actually working at ZenPilot? And so I've got a thought on this that I wanted to share with you as well, and a shout out to the whole Tool Finder team for the work that they put into spotlighting content here, that's related to productivity, project management, operations, like how do we live our day-to-day life. And so my big thought that I wanted to share that I've not yet shared here was like, how do we use super agents for alignment? And so what I pointed out, and I'll let you watch the video for the kind of the full version, but just teams naturally, this is one of the reasons that we love Entrepreneurial Operating System, EOS, so much, is teams naturally start to drift apart. Like we all come together, we're all excited, we're all mostly on the same page about what do we want to accomplish, what are the big priorities that we have, and then in the natural course of the day-to-day, your set of clients or your team that you're working on is pulling you a little bit in this direction, and I'm getting pulled a little bit, and we wind up with the best of intentions and thinking we're aligned, not even necessarily pulling in different directions, but just pulling in two kind of diverging directions. And one of the cool things about agents is you can feed them, here's our priorities, here's what we've agreed to. At ZenPilot, we call those rocks because we're running on EOS. Here's what we've agreed the next 90 days are going to look like, and that's in the context of this broader one-year plan, which is in the context of where we're trying to go, what's our 3-year picture look like, and then this 10-year, like what's our much longer-term vision look like. And super agents are good at seeing everyone's work that's happening in the workspace and saying, hey, I can see how this ties back into what you're trying to do here in 90 days. Or wait a second, like you're spending a bunch of time here on something that doesn't have anything to do with what you talked about. And so there's that aspect of just kind of like guardrails or coaching back around, hey, is this really tied into that? How can we pull individual users back in and keep everyone aligned? And then there's the other side of it, which is I may have learned something in my work that would be super helpful for someone else on the team, but I don't see that connection because I don't see everything that they're working on, or I'm not paying attention to everything that they're working on, even if I have full visibility to it. And so using super agents, and this is taking some training, like this is not perfectly dialed in at all at ZenPilot, although it is very helpful, but taking that context and saying, hey, I don't know if you may have missed this, but the delivery team just figured out this cool thing that would actually be super helpful in marketing. I've probably talked about like our ClickUp Weekly ideas super agent, and it's scanning the workspace and it's finding anything that might be interesting, especially from stuff that we're we're building, hey, this is cool for clients over here, this is helpful, and it's feeding all those ideas back into the ClickUp Weekly like prep docs for these. So it's giving me like I'm going in to build this out or to refine it before recording, and it's pulling in all this context. And some of that stuff I have seen. I may have even been the one who tagged it in and said, hey, make sure I don't forget about it. But almost every week at this point, there's a couple things in there that I'm like, oh, I didn't even see this, or maybe I briefly glanced through it, but that one didn't stick with me. But actually, that would be a cool thing to cover and highlight. Does that make sense? So I talked a couple episodes about like, here's the first 3 super agents you should build. You absolutely should build those first, because without getting the inputs right in your work, especially the accountability coach, there's no, like an alignment super agent still is not going to be able to align something if there's no visibility into what your work actually is. But once you have visibility and you feed it your long-term goals, we talked about the executive coach, and like for your personal goals, how do we coach? But this is almost like a team building business coach who's working with you and across the team to help keep everyone aligned. Anyways, I want to share that because I shared that in a little more detail in the Tool Finder interview. All right, favorite part of the show, trivia time. Last week's trivia. So if you've got questions that you want to get asked here on the show, or you've got answers, make sure you leave a comment and shout this out. Last week's trivia on ClickUp Weekly: how many hours per week does the average employee spend in unproductive meetings? Is it 20 hours, 5 hours, 15 hours, or 9 hours? And if you guessed D, 9 hours, you'd be correct. This comes from a couple different research studies that have been aggregated. And, I'm sure that this looks different in different contexts, but it's wild to think the average employee is spending 9 hours in unproductive meetings. And for some of you watching this, you're like, yeah, that's what I'm literally watching this because I'm on a muted thing, or I'm watching this with captions right now. And others of you are like, that's crazy. I don't even do 9 hours of meetings every week on average. Count yourself lucky if that's the case. ClickUp Weekly trivia time. Question number 2. What percentage of people can actually multitask effectively? This is called super taskers from the research study that pulled this. 2.5%, 15%, 30%, or 50%. I wouldn't have guessed it was this low. I know that there's all this data and pseudoscience or real science about, hey, multitasking. You're not really multitasking. You're just switching context in your mind very quickly, and sometimes not very quickly. But this study said, hey, 2.5% of people have that ability. For me, that's helpful to just say, yeah, like I'm probably not in the 2.5%, so I'm going to do my best to stay as focused as I can. Okay, let's go to this week's trivia on ClickUp Weekly. According to ClickUp's official documentation, when will ClickUp 3.0 be fully deprecated? Meaning admins can no longer switch back. This is a test of how well you've been paying attention. I've been sounding the bell, giving you the warning, and I'm going to give you the answer right here. I'm deviating from normal. March 27th. We are coming up on it. As I'm recording this, we're 20 days away. So you've got to make sure you've got a good upgrade plan in place for ClickUp 4.0. And the second question, which ClickUp 4.0 feature earned my highest grade, A+, in our 4.0 review? So you can read the blog post, or you can watch the video. You do not have to do both to know this, but check those out. And we'll dig into that in a little more context next week. All right, that's it for ClickUp Weekly Trivia Time. That's it for the show today. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube. Email show@zenpilot.com if you've got any ideas for future episodes, questions that you'd like to have answered. And subscribe to First Class Operations at zenpilot.com/newsletter. Thanks for taking time to stay with me here today on ClickUp Weekly, and we'll see you next week.